Do you want to know why we need a reactor? I'll show you why we need a reactor. This is 4-speed upgrades. It wants 14,000 RF tick. Just saying. Hello everybody, this is Frogman and welcome back to Manufactio. This is going to be episode 55. This morning I'm just kind of sitting here setting up a couple of things. We did do a whole bunch of auto-crafting, a whole bunch of pre-crafting for the advanced ammunition, advanced magazines. So I figured I would go ahead and at least get this kind of set up today just so that I can tell this thing to go ahead and make sure that we are okay on this process. So can I spell please? Advanced, we need to be able to make around 1,000 of those. So how short am I on this process? Need 118, so we might be okay, kind of close, because I believe I might have a few of those laying around. Plus, I probably already have that. So we have what was that? Advanced rounds. Just as a quick little segue into the regular old day of the things. I have 80 of them right now, so I need 1,000 minus 80. I need 920 of those dudes. So where is my thing? Out and do 1,920. Do I have enough stuff to do that? I do. Go ahead, craft that, and we'll be back for you later on. All right, in between episodes, I have been busy crafting various parts, pieces that we still need to do the rest of the process for the this fusion reactor, and I have completed the little building that I decided I wanted to build around the pump station for the deuterium processing. So every one of these guys now has 4 speed upgrades in them. I think the number that I needed was everybody needed 4, and then there was possibly one that needed 5. This is going to be the slow process, so this is the one where we're going to probably buff them a little bit with speed upgrades as they go, because right now the way I have this at least tested and programmed is that reactor, when we build it's going to make a reasonable amount of power. I can turn things up and make a lot of power. I'm just not going to do it right now because I don't have the storage that I want. So speaking of the building, I did just kind of do a little bit of whatever. I figured since it's making heavy water, we're making some kind of a little fantasy idea here where we're just pulling heavy water out of the ground, and the heavy water has turned the regular ground into something that looks like a water stone. And then I hung pipes all over the place and kind of used a little bit of a vent action here to make it look a little neat. Plus we have a nice little support arch for the, whatever you call it, the gas tube going in there. It's not anything special. It's just one of those, this is a very simple process and there's not a whole lot to see. So like all of these pipes, none of them are doing anything. They're just there to show a kind of a story. Whereas in the building over here making the tritium, I didn't have to decorate near as much because there's a lot of machines going on in here and a lot of things happening. So everything should be ready to go. And these guys are nice and juiced up now. We've got 3,000 Kelvin going on as far as temperature is concerned, so we may not even need all these. Hello, I guess the season's changed. Hi. Anyhow, into the big building, and I have screwed up once again. I went ahead and found a use for the force field projectors because it makes a nice door. So I did go ahead and do a goofy little bit of stuff down here so we can take a look at it real quick. That drops a redstone line down to the underside of things, so it comes down into a toggle latch that is controlling these guys so that I have a two-way door. If I walk through it, it's going to close behind me. If I walk up to it, it's going to open and let me out. So if I want to close the door, we're good to go. So it's just one of those, I thought it was a pretty good idea to at least come up with some kind of a door in here because it's getting pretty crazy with the mobs as long as I've been playing. So anyhow, we're somewhat safe in here. Everything's ready to go. The induction matrix casing is built and I have the idea laid out for how I want to do this. So let's go ahead and build the induction matrix first so that it's out of our way. This is a pretty simple, easy thing. I go in from the top. I need you out of the way too. Okay. Induction matrixes A legit induction matrix just requires one cell and one provider inside a casing. So if I put these back in here, I wonder if it'll actually let me do it inside of it. If I put these back, it should be a legal storage structure. So you can have air blocks inside them. You can build them as long as they're cuboid. You can build them pretty much however you want. I believe there's probably a limit on the size, but I'm not worried about it right now. What we want to do is we want to fill this sucker with as many of these what do you call them? The cells as we possibly can. So we're going to do, no, I want the cell, that one right there. Thank you. I've got a whole bunch of these crafted up. And yes, this took a really long time to craft because every one of those things requires 4 of the previous cell to craft, which requires 4 of the previous cell to craft. So they get really time consuming if you don't have the stuff. So we'll look at it in just a second. But now we have an induction matrix that's capable of holding 640 giga RF a second, and it can output at like 2 million, I think was what those things can do. So that's pretty good. That'll do for a while. So just to show on these, I know I set them up prior just so you guys could see it, but like just these right here, the induction cells requires 4 of the energy tablets plus an elite energy cube and 4 of the prior advanced induction cells. So elite energy cube looks like that. The advanced looks like that. The basic energy cube looks like that. So it gets pretty resource intensive. These guys, every single one of them requires an advanced energy cube, which requires a basic energy cube, which requires all of that. So it gets pretty expensive. I'm actually almost out of lithium. I made way too much lithium a long time ago, and I finally used almost all of it up. So anyhow, this dude should be ready to go. Let's start on the next process, which is building this reactor. So the reactor that I want is going to have a couple of functionalities because of how I have this designed. We're going to use the last step in the process as the throttle for it. So this guy is going to be how we're going to input the final gas, which is the DT fuel, into the reactor so that we control it. And we're going to control the speed based on how many speed upgrades I put in this thing. So that way I can kind of keep an eye on how things will work. These guys will run and make up to 1.4 million RF a tick. We're shooting for about 700,000. So let's go ahead and get him built. He's a little odd structure. It's kind of a spherical shape. And over these 2 right here, I want to put 2 reactor ports. This is going to be the input for the DT fuel. And this right here is going to be the output, right there, to power this thing. So as long as this reactor is running, this should be making fuel. This is probably going to come back to bite me in the butt later on. But again, that thing holds a lot. As long as I can keep it filled up, my only interest is going to be occasionally, oh, I'm out of power. I've got plenty of power. Let me just shut this thing off. The reactor will cool off and stop running. So I want to make sure you're on disabled at this point. So build the rest of him out. Okay. The next step, and this is where the problem is going to go, and I know I'm going to mess it up. What did I do with the glass? Okay, the next step that I want to do is we're going to go ahead and build the sides out. Now, the sides on the front and the back are going to have reactor glass in them, so we can see in it. These sides are not going to have anything but a reactor port to inject regular gases in the sides. Go. And then we do like this. And we have to put a block right there. It's kind of it's almost a ball. And then, come back up here. And I need those, and this. Okay, so get some glass going right here. This. For casings. More casings. You should have a block right there and a block right there. That's looking pretty good. And the final cap, which is going to be the output port for the power from the reactor into that thing, and the controller. I'll end up with 1 extra, which is fine. What did I do with the rest of this stuff? Oh, right. I was going to do something else. Since I had so much extra glass, we're going to do it this way. Because it's got a really cool animation. I forgot I did that too. It's got a really cool animation, so I guess I had forgotten that I was going to do this. So we'll just use up some of this glass because I had to craft a few extra, because it's one of those you craft extra for every block that you have. So yes, highly annoying, but whatever. So we just finished the cap off here. The last one. Thank you. And there. Plus that. And it's formed, right? You're formed, you're happy, wonderful, awesome. Okay, so in here we have several different GUIs. This is going to be the heat base thing here. This is where the amount of heat is going to be shown that this reactor is producing, which it is using to convert into RF energy. This thing can also make steam, a really, really, really lot of steam. So we could actually look at the statistics here. If you want to do a water-cooled one, which will be the one that will produce a massive amount of steam, you actually have to inject quite a bit of fuel versus the air-cooled one, where we only need to be able to make around 8 millibuckets a tick into this thing to keep it happy. So it'll definitely produce. Fuel in here, we're going to have to change this as it goes, and it's currently not storing or producing any kind of materials whatsoever. And as you can see right there, it can also store up to 400 million RF internally. So now we need to do a couple more things. We need to get the lasers set up, we need to get the gases hooked up, and we need to get a few things going. So where are my quantum entangled porters? We're gonna put one of those right there and one of those right there, because that's the only way I can get that amount of power out of this thing. So we're going to do reactor out, set, and power is going to be input on it. That's fine, that'll work. Then you're going to be reactor out, set, and you are going to be eject. We'll just do that on all of those, so that should work there. What did I get stuck in? Come here, you. All right, so the first thing I want to do right here, and I believe this should be okay to do this, we're going to say this is going to be, where is it, base power? What did I call it? Power out. No, yeah, that's right. This is going to be power out for the rest of the system. And of course, we need to make sure that the bottom is input. So he's going to have some power in him right now, because that is coming off of that other induction matrix that's sitting over there. So let's go. Where did I put it? There it is, the spare one. Okay. Now, we need to build the thing that does the stuff to fire this sucker up and let it run. So, the first thing we need to do, in order to warm one of these up, which is funny, you have to inject a massive amount of power into it to get it to function. So, you do that with laser amplifiers, and you can do it with just one laser, but it'll take forever. I'm going to do it with 4 laser amplifiers and 8 lasers, just to make it happen a little bit quicker. And I want to set this guy to redstone high and put a lever on it. That way, that one is going to be storing all the energy so that we can blast a humongous burst of energy into this thing to get it to fire up. So we need to get these lasers installed and warming up the system. So laser, 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 laser. Let's see, is this going to place the way I want it to? Good. Fuel. Like I said, you can get away with a lot less of these. It's just going to take a really long time to charge this thing up. So, the laser amplifiers here on the backside, we're not going to be touching them. Basically, what we're going to be doing is these lasers are going to be firing into this amplifier, and these amplifiers are going to be pushing all of that energy towards the front one. And when I'm ready to fire it, I can flick that lever on, and it's going to fire. I don't want to do it right now, though. So, then we need some flux duckages. And some more flux duckages. And I am going to put this quantum entangle porter in the center. Now, I said quantum entangle porter. Thank you. Right there. We're going to be set to project out on every side I can get you on, because I may have to use quite a few bits of power to do this. And I'm using the resonant flux ducts because I really want this to just push. We can see we got some little signals going on down there now. And we're now firing our lasers into a laser amplifier, and this guy should be gathering up stuff. In order to fire this thing off, it's going to need about 600 million RF to fire, just to get it to run. So we're going to be a little bit on that. Now, the fun part we need to do is we need to go ahead and plumb all of the gases into the system. So I probably built these way too high, didn't I? Because I want to do something kind of like this. That. Maybe. Yeah, I think I built them way too high. That's okay. No big deal. Time to start putting stuff into this guy. Down. Don't do that. Where's my other wrench? The one that I don't have to scroll through to get to work. There we go. How are we doing? It's gonna be a minute. Considering we're playing with what the base can make right now. Okay, so with all of that, we should be getting deuterium in one side and tritium in the other. What I'm going to do real quick, and I know I have this built back here, is I need to shut that thing off. Where is it? I get to it without doing anything silly. I need to, I do, no, I want that. Can I reach you now? Yes, I can. Okay, I need to unhook you for right now, and I should be able to put you back, maybe? Yes? Okay, good deal. I want to unhook you for right now so that this thing is going to be able to allow me to fill something with the basic process that's left over. So we can go outside. If I have another quantum entangle porter thingy-majigger, no, I may have to steal one and charge this guy up. It's going to be the only problem with this is that if it does break, we will have to jumpstart the system. So how much is in that one? Dude, I'm going to borrow your thing real quick. I'm sorry. I don't know why you don't work, but it is what it is. So, reactor. We need one of these, which is a metallurgic infuser with gold, right? And charcoal or carbon, which is something I'm not doing. Awesome. Okay. Is it seriously that? I'm going to make a few of these because we may end up messing this up a couple of times. So, carbon. Coal. I think coal works if I remember correctly. We'll just grab a few of those. And I don't have one of these sitting here empty, do I? No. Great. Well, how much is a regular old metallurgic infuser to make? He's not terrible. Do I have? I might even have that. I probably don't have the furnaces. I do have the furnaces. Okay. Well, we'll just put this in here for right now. You can go right there. And you can get some of those for now. Make some room in my inventory. What did I do with the coal? Okay, it's right there. How many is this? So should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That should be what we need, right? Maybe. So this plus that will make one of those. And we're going to make a few of these because this is how you jumpstart the system, basically. We're going to fill this full of DT fuel, and when we fire that laser, it's going to force the reaction to start happening. Hopefully. So I got 4 of them. That'll be good enough for now. Oh. Need these back because I need them for something else. Thank you. And while you're at it, you can just work on that one. this stuff away. And let's go see how things are. Check back here. We're halfway there. Nice. All right, so I need to fill this thing up with stuff, DT fuel. So we're going to place that in there, and it should fill those up. Actually, reasonably quick as it is. Okay, cool. And did I put any upgrades in this at all? So we're going to start with at least 4 of these. And like I said, this is going to be my throttle. If I want it to go faster or slower, I'm going to remove speed upgrades. Or add them. So very cool. Now you're out of power. That's perfectly fine. Oh, you're not out of power, but I want this to fill this up. So let's check on our reactor. The reactor is going to have fuels. We are full on deuterium. We're full on tritium. I want to fill this guy up completely with the initial amount that we can get in it. So, come on. Pull out of there, please. So we are full up on everything that we need here, and I want to set that rate for 8. 8. 8. That way that this, I mean, that's your other throttle. You can adjust the rate that things input at as well, but we're not going to worry about that right now. We're just going to use this thing. So you should be good. You should be full. I can break that and get it out of my life. And as soon as this thing fills up, which is going to be a minute, we can take the next step. So I'm going to hang on to that right here, and I will be back once this sucker is ready to go, guys. Okay, so we're getting there. I want to make sure I have way too much in this thing. Way too much in this thing. It should only take about 600 million RF to fire it. Should. But we're going to let it get to there. Okay, fingers crossed. Doesn't break the first time. So we take this guy, this full-on hull rem, whatever, and we place him in the center of the deal here. The fuel injection rate is going to be set for 8 on both of these, and as you notice, I have all 3 of the fuels being injected at the same time so that this reactor doesn't just immediately chew through every little bit of DT fuel that it has. Because what it can do, if you just inject DT fuel, it will run on it, and then it'll immediately chew through every little bit of it, and there's no way you're going to be able to keep up with it. Or you can. I mean, it just takes a lot of power to do it. This way I'm putting both of the things in as well as a small amount of this stuff at the same time, which will cause the reaction to stay stable, hopefully. So I guess all we got to do is flick a lever and see what happens. So, right now, that thing's empty, or at least it should be empty. Let's see what happens. Blast all of that in there. Reaction's running. How are we doing down here? We should have plenty of backlog to run this thing for quite a bit. Heat is coming up nicely. Why are you not ejecting? What are you doing? Oh. Doing okay here. Sorry, being a little quiet. Just wanting to make sure things are working the way I want it to work. 665. It's coming up. Where's the button I want? Might actually need to slow that one down. Okay, cool. Let's go outside and check both sides here real quick. Are we drained? Is empty? No. Very cool. This is working. These are full up. Okay, so you're draining. That's what I was expecting to see. Good, good. Okay, I want to toss some more stuff in one of you guys. I've only got 2 in them right now. What did I do? I did that one. Need one more. And I need some more speed upgrades. You need one more. These don't use any power, so you can cram them full of as many speed upgrades as you want to. We'll do one back here being drained. I don't want to see a loss right now. This is the only problem. I do not want to see a loss right now on any of these. Because it's the middle of the day. Well, that's actually going down, but that's great. So we'll start to see stuff kind of trickle off here. I have plenty. Actually, this should be way more than what I need. You're not running out of stuff. Get one more. Get caught up. I think we're fixing to lose the sun. Yeah, I may have to do a little bit more tweaking. That's basically the tweaking that we do. We're going to end up taking a whole bunch of this stuff and putting a bunch of speed upgrades in these, and in these, and in these pumps back here in case we run out of water. But it looks like right now I'm keeping up with the water. We're making 160 millibuckets of brine a tick, which is what I want to see. I'm making 16 millibuckets a tick right now as it is. I like to say, well, this system should overproduce by quite a ways, so we should be okay on that part. Let's go check over here. These are not emptying. Are they? So I'm going to need to do a little bit of work here. What happened to that? That was weird. What did I set you to? You should be power out, right? Yeah, okay. Good, you're gaining. That's what I want to see. How is this doing? You should be set to power out. Correct? You are. I may have to put another one of these on the system then. How is the thing doing? Why am I not storing any energy at this point? Input on. Oh, because I'm a genius, aren't I? That'll work. There you go. Statistics. No, it's the other way around, isn't it? This is input. This is output. This, I probably have clicked wrong. No, he's right. Oh boy. It should start slowing down here pretty soon. Are these not outputting? Let me fool with it a little bit. I'll be right back. You know, sometimes I hate mechanism. Just because of how the interface works. You think you select the right thing, and you don't select the right thing. Oh, yeah. We're working. That wasn't much. Cool. So we look down here. We're using up our fuels correctly. And if you notice, there's no DT fuel in here, and that's because I'm throttling it. I don't want it to cram as much as it possibly can into this. I don't think these can blow up, but you know, I haven't ever tried it. We have set down at a nice, even, almost 600 million Kelvin as far as temperature on the inside plasma is concerned, and the casing is slowly warming up. And as this number gets all the way up to here, this thing will be making the max amount of RF that it possibly can, which is currently we're making 700 and almost 90,000 RF a tick into this system. Almost. This guy right here, we're not even hardly putting anything out at this point. Good deal. Good deal. Good deal. Good deal. So, for a second there, I was concerned I broke something. Let's go check everything else out. Since it is the middle of the night, I am totally expecting to be running out of fuel over here. But the idea is hopefully it will get through the entire night without running completely out of all of this tritium. It set all these to output on the top, right? And that's because even these guys, they're backstuffed. So there's a whole bunch of backstuff material in here. This thing is going to completely fill up all of these. Like I said, even if they run these empty, they'll be all ready to go. We're going to actually see how things start to work once the sun comes back up. But let's go take a look over here real quick. This whole system, for some odd reason, because I haven't told it to stop, love it. If I want to now, I can shut this entire system off, which we're going to let it fill this up right here. But I'm going to eventually turn this one off right here. And it's loud over here. Hello, good lord, kill everything. What in the heck? Why is stuff spawning on top of that roof? There are powered lanterns in there. Seriously. And I'm out of rounds for that one. That was one I pulled out of a turret. I don't know why they're spawning up there. There's powered lanterns in that building. See? Look, right there. Make up your mind, game. Anyhow, what we will do is we're going to let the current system over here, I'll fill this back up, and then I'm going to shut the output off on this system here so that it will no longer be allowed to output, so that this is going to be a completely backup system at this point, which is going to cause me a problem in here because it won't be eating up the pollution, but we're going to come up with a different process for this area very soon. This actually is going to start producing plastic for me, I believe, or at least most of this is going to start producing plastic for me. But let's go back over here, give us a real check on how good things are doing. Hopefully everything's still up and running. Oh, that looks cool. I like it. I like it a lot. I just wish I could put like facades or something on these things. Although I should be using a whole lot more power than that at this point. Of course, the system is over there flush or putting a whole bunch of things in. We're almost up to 790. So it's going to sit out about right there once it gets calm. Now, like I said, this thing can make like 1.4 million, 1.5 million RF a tick. If I can manage to pump as much DT fuel into this thing as I possibly can from here, which means I can add more speed upgrades in here and in everything else to make this work. The biggest problem right now is all you're not seeing it. We're using right around 120,000 RF a tick, and that, when it's running, between the two of them, plus that little machine, to make that much power. I haven't even bothered to do the calculations on what it's going to take as far as power-wise to get both of these buildings to get that to a 1.4 million, but I have a stinking suspicion that it's going to take me almost 300,000 RF a tick to make that 1.4 million. So it's doable. It's just it takes a whole lot more stuff to do. So anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to call it for today. We're going to let all the turrets kill everything and have fun, and I'm going to do a little bit of fiddling and playing with this and making sure it's as tweaked as it's going to get. But for right now, I think I'm going to do that. And I'm going to say thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.